One of the reasons that I believe we're still in business is we're willing to adapt, to do things that you need to do to be successful.
"40 Years of the Business Journal" is sponsored by Compco and these participating sponsors.
In 1985, a friend of mine called me one day and said, "Come back to Youngstown and be my partner." I said no, but 6 months later I was sitting in a little office on West Avenue trying to figure out why I left AT&T, but it was probably the best decision I ever made my whole life. So that's kind of how the business started. 5 employees, just trying to get things going. I came from AT&T, so we were a telephone company. Because of divestiture, it became a competitive market. I saw an opportunity to do that.
For a long time, he started in telephones. So he started with Ohio Bell and the old bells, and he went into AT&T. And he had a lot of contacts through that. And he was lucky enough to find a few people. We were actually living in Cleveland at the time. We lived in Strongsville in Brunswick. So he got an opportunity because my father's from here with some people that he knew. So basically, he just packed it up and went for it with the opportunity in 1985, and here we are all these years later. So, we ended up moving back to Youngstown from the Strongsville area in the 80s. So he did the commute for a couple of years, trying to grow the business, and when it came time, he packed us up and moved us back.
A lot of people in 1985 wondered why I came back to Youngstown, because it probably wasn't a boom town at the time. It kind of was the reverse at that point. But it made sense, and so I did in fact move and come back here, start the business, and I got it going. And actually, it was, obviously I said it was the best thing ever happened to me in my whole life, with the exception of my kids and wife.
They started as a business-to-business business telephone systems company, and obviously grew that from there. Went through one of our largest clients was the Farmore organization, so that was a bit of a hurdle we had to get past. And my father got through that, and finally, we started to grow over time, over a long time.
In '93, after Farmore had its problems, we moved over to Market Street and built the business from there, continued to grow the business. But we were a phone company at the time. So we took care of phone systems, large and small. Mahoning County is a good example. We did that in 1988. They are still our customer after all those years. We have a lot of other customers just like that we've had for many, many years. But as with anything else, one of the reasons that I believe we're still in business is we're willing to adapt, to do things that you need to do to be successful. And so when the digital age started to leave and the IP age arrived, we made the transition.
As we grew around the year 2000, my father came to me and said, would you like to be part of the organization? I guess it was more like you're going to come work with me. So I was working at Cellular at the time, so I had a little bit of business-to-business experience coming out of college. And then, we basically, over the last 20 years or so, with the onset of voice over IP, we had to start working a lot more with networks. And over time, it really just became, we were doing a lot of the IT infrastructure work. So we decided to really dig in and go after more of a fully rounded technology company. And we do IT managed services now. I have a team of guys that does structured cabling. So we do fiber installations, network closet builds. So we basically, the guys make fun of me because I always say we do blacktop to desktop. So I work with the phone companies and the internet providers all the way to we do desktop support. So it's everything from a technology standpoint that any business needs, we handle all of it.
I really enjoy all the changes that have happened here. But it's been 40 years. So it's been a lot of fun for me, and it's actually kind of exciting for me because the industry has changed so much. And the idea that the telephone system isn't a thing with a cord on it anymore. It's an application sitting on a computer somewhere. whether it's on your premise or sitting somewhere else. It's still just an application. All right, so it's pretty exciting. And actually, the last 3 or 4 years, getting much more involved in cybersecurity. That's been a lot of fun for me because it's really, I find it very interesting. And so that's kind of how we got there. I'd like to think that we're still here because, we provide good service, we have good products. I really have a dedicated staff of individuals that are really well trained. And I think I might have said something like that about 35 years ago, but it's every bit as true today. Probably why we're still here.
People get real tight when things get real tight. So, I don't want to say, the good news about what we do is it's a necessity, especially on the IT side now. Nobody functions without some sort of IT support needed, whether that be internal or external with us or both. And from a communication standpoint, we still have to talk to each other. So it's always, that never goes away. How we talk to each other obviously has drastically changed, especially again with the onset of COVID, and everybody just kind of adopted that new method of Zoom calls and Teams calls and such. But yeah, those challenges for us have been, the economic challenges for us have been always in the back of our minds, but we were a necessity. So, as long as we were priced right and did the job and treated our customers right and made sure that we serviced them the way we promised, we were able to get through those tough times. And there were tough times. We slimmed down really drastically, in the mid 2000s here, or early 2000s, excuse me, where we needed to trim back some of that staff and trim back just to keep the doors open. And we did, and we got through it, and now we're thriving based upon some of the growth that we're seeing in the IT side. We're really and aggressively trying to grow. I've got, my team of IT engineers now is the best we've ever had. I brought in a newer director of IT, a gentleman by the name of Mike Edwards, who has come in and really, really helped me revamp how we deliver our services to our clients. And we're seeing improvement every day. The team's growing. We're really, and I emphasize that word team because I really feel good about the guys that are out there and working with us now. It's
still fun. I still enjoy it. Although my son pretty much takes care of all the things that need to be taken care of day to day, it allows me to look at and do things I want to do. But yeah, I've always found it enjoying, and it's exciting to see what's happening in our industry. So, my father he's still here. He loves doing it. He's still happy to be here every day. Beats me here every day, to work. So, I joke with him. I'm not sure what he does here anymore. So don't tell him I said that. But yeah, it's great for me and I've got pictures of my kids on the wall that, God willing, someday, I can do what my father's doing for me. So.
"40 Years of the Business Journal" is sponsored by Comco and these participating sponsors.